All right, so we're recording. So welcome everybody. Great week 6. Hard to believe. Every week I'm like, man, this is flying by, but it continues to fly by. And some really exciting games this week. If you missed that Life West Glendale match, go back and check it out. It was fantastic. All of the other games, pretty high scores, and it was good rugby. Good to watch. As far as the standings, the Quins take, or I guess remain in first in the East. And Life West stays at first in the West, but only by a narrow margin after that loss to Glendale. So still, I guess anything could happen there in the West. All right, team trends week 6. Actually, the refereeing was very good. Thanks to everybody for the contributions. So it was good products all around and some fun rugby to watch. I think as we're reviewing our matches and as we move forward into next week, we want to do some thought around setting standards, making sure that we set reasonable standards that everybody can play to for 80 minutes and that we maintain those standards for 80 minutes. So we don't want to go hunting. We want to pick the big ones, the clear and obvious ones, and then keep that for the full 80. Contextual refereeing, sort of thinking about when we get those calls that are maybe 50-50, thinking about what should happen next and what our particular game needs. Those 50-50 calls really can make or break a game. So the final thing is communication. There were a few times this week where, in multiple matches, where we stopped a game on the 5 meter or when a team had really nice momentum to give a captain's chat. So just before we do that, make sure the team doesn't want to go quick so that we're not stopping anything. Any comments about those things?
Amanda, I just have a question about the stopping for a chat. That's stopping for a chat and not doing anything.
Not actually giving a yellow card?
Yeah. Okay.
So just stopping to give a warning. So we don't want to give a warning in a situation where essentially you're just helping the defense do what they want to do, which is slow the game or stop the attack. Make sense?
I guess I've heard a little bit of controversy surrounding that, where people say, like, you shouldn't allow a quick tap on the 5 meter line because you're basically giving a team a try. So I've heard people promote that actually to slow the game down so you're not just handing a freebie over.
I would say there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually, it's Olivia, sorry.
Nope.
You did not give the team anything. The team that committed the infraction caused it and deserves to be scored against if they did something on the 5 or 2 or 3 meter line.
Yeah. So thanks, Olivia. I think Olivia is absolutely right. We never want to give a penalty in a position where something that we have done allows the team to score with a quick tap, but we definitely also don't want to slow the game by having a chat at the 5 meter. It's a fine line. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's something that the MLR has been doing. So that might be where you're thinking of it, Kat, and it is something they're deliberately doing to slow the game down and not take away advantage, but just make sure everybody's on sides and you don't have any silly yellow cards. And we talked about it a lot in the MLR.
Yes, slowing it, but not slowing it to the point where you're taking 2 minutes to have a captain's chat.
Totally correct. Like just slow giving
right.
You give it. Yes.
Yeah, slowing it enough to give the space and have the tap, but not have the quick tap such that they score before the defense is even aware it's happening.
That all makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so 2 different things. We could talk about it more if we need to. Yeah, I definitely see the issue. Okay, so are we ready to go to advantage? Let's see, who was up this week? Jenny Lou, do you want to start?
Sure. Let me see. Could we start with that, the piece in the folder?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So this week I was in Minnesota. It was Zons versus North Shore, and North Shore sort of had some problems coming in. Their starting prop missed the flight. She showed up at halftime. They had some injuries and some people unavailable, so they were under pressure even before the game started. But they found their feet, and they were actually pretty competitive in the second half. The first half was like 35-0, and then the second half was actually 21-17. Still Zons, but it was at least fairly even. Let's see what else. So nothing, there was some really great tries and a fast-paced game, but nothing really weird happened. I only have a few things to talk about, so I thought I'd talk about the review process and how it helped me. I had a few more penalties than in my first two matches, so I was like, I wonder why that's happening. So I did a little low-tech analysis and just sort of mapped out what who was doing it, what number, what types of infringements. And for the most part, for most of the game, it was, trading penalties and all like a mixed bag of penalties. And there wasn't really any trends, except for that part at the end of the second or the first half here. And I was like, holy hell, what is happening here? There was so many penalties against the Zons, but it also didn't really feel that way because the temperature of the game was so low, and nobody was complaining. So I didn't have any external triggers for that the Zons were infringing more. And also I didn't have as many internal triggers because half of the penalties I didn't really believe in and were sort of like 50-50 when I reviewed them after the fact. And also when I was doing them, I was like, oh gosh, I just don't know. So to me, it didn't feel like the Zons were cynically destroying momentum. They were legitimately competing. So I think that last week, I made a few calls against attacking momentum, and I think that I maybe overcorrected a little bit this week and didn't give the defense enough of a fair shot. And I'll pull out one clip. But I thought this was a useful exercise, and it helped me to determine where my problem areas were. So Wendy and I looked at the film and went back to this area in the game, and I was coming in a little bit flat and didn't have the best view of that first instance. So I think I ran into a little bit of trouble, and I think that I was like overthinking the momentum piece of it. So I'm going to scale that back a little bit for the next one. So it was useful to narrow down where I could get the most benefit moving forward.
Cool.
Okay, so the clips, I only have 2 clips because it was a pretty straightforward game and not a lot of crazy stuff happened. But the North Shore lineout is a hot mess. And they, I know Kat had mentioned that they were doing the walking in, and it was a little borderline. So I sort of decided I was going to manage that. And then suddenly they went from walking in to one person. There were like 2 receivers sort of milling about, and then one person coming in and nobody leaving. And obviously you can see my back is turned here. I'm trying to get into position. I should have just slowed it down and made sure everything was set correctly. They sort of just snuck that one in there. So that's just something to be aware of when you have whoever has North Shore next. I think they're going to clean this up. I had a long conversation with Parisa about why are you doing this? You're not even gaining an advantage. But yeah, I think they're having some challenges there with the lineup. So you can see that there's 2 receivers, and then she comes running in, and then still lose the lineup.
Still not a great lineup.
Yeah, still not a great lineup. I was like, this, you're not even doing anything productive here. Why are you even trying that?
Cool.
And then the next clip is the one where I think that I was a little bit harsh on the Zons because I was thinking about attacking momentum and would like the thoughts of the group.
Is it me? Am I not seeing it? Is it not in here?
No.
Let's
Oh,
go
maybe it
out.
didn't come in.
Okay, yeah, let's go out.
Oh, there it is.
Poach.
Okay, Poach.
Yep. Let me stick this in the right folder while we're doing it, or we'll lose it forever. Sorry for that, everybody. There we go. So this is during your string?
Yes. This was the beginning of the string.
Okay.
So what does everyone think? I mean, the timing is pretty close, and she's making an effort to come through the gate. Should she get a crack at this? Was that too harsh?
Okay, so we're looking at Amazon's number 1
Mm-hmm.
right here. Does she beat the ruck? Who wants to take it?
Amanda, can you play it just one more time? It's a little laggy on my end.
Yep, absolutely. I'll slow it down too. So there's 1 right there.
And then so Wendy's feedback is that I came in really flat and square on. And is that the best position? Probably not.
Yeah, shit.
Hey, Jenny, it's Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have a couple clips that I'll go through, but I would have almost let it breathe a little bit to see what would have happened. And then maybe it would give you a second to think, was that legal? Was it not legal? And then, because you can wait that second and still go back to it, unless anybody else has feedback against that.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's actually something that Wendy and I talked about as well. And she gave a great line of "Don't go looking for minnows," and I thought that was super useful, just to let things breathe a little bit. So yeah, I agree with that.
Jenny, Dave, this is happening in real time. It's great that we have the ability to slow it down, but real time, I think this is kind of a gray situation. You could have either let it go or call it the way that you called it.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have been right in either case.
Anybody feel strongly about this one?
I think it's a good call, but she didn't necessarily have to make it as Haley.
Hey,
It
Haley.
just depends on, like we say, context. What does the game need?
Yep, I'm 100% in your camp. So I feel like if you were having a problem with poaching or over competing at the breakdown, I guess, poaching when they shouldn't, then I think that's when you give that. And if you're not having a problem with it, maybe you just leave it.
Mm-hmm. Does it matter? Is it a good call if...
I think it's a great call.
Cool. This is the end of the first half. North Shore is getting completely stomped at this point.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
And just
Joe,
giving them a
you're
little bit of
unmuted.
something to go on. Is that important for context?
That is important for context. So yeah, if North Shore is getting stomped and you want to give them a shot, this is a great one to give them, because I really don't think she beats that ruck. It's tight.
It's
Cool.
tight, but it's a good call. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for the feedback.
Anybody else have anything on this one? Cool.
Yep, that's it for me.
That's it for you. Awesome. Well, great job this weekend, and thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Michelle O'Brien, I see your name next. You ready?
Sure am. Also, I have a lot of clips, but the reason I think I have 5 clips, but 4 of them are like 1 of 2 and 2 of 2, because one was, okay, I'll just go over it when I get there. But
Okay.
I had a great game. I feel like I had a fun game. The teams were really fun to referee. Orsu came out just on fire, and it was a great first half. I think they were the second ones to score, so it was like 5-7 for a little bit, and then I think halftime ended up being 17-7, which was really fun considering the last week Orsu kind of got beat.
Yeah.
But in terms of what I did, so I created a lineout checklist, and I think it really helped managing my lineouts. There's still more that I can do from there, but I think that was a good turning point for me. And then Rosalind asked me to write down communication, since it was something I was working on, and to actually write down the words I was using. And so I listened to myself and wrote down every single word, and couldn't listen to myself for more than 20 minutes. And so I changed my word choice, and I feel like that was a significant change in this game management, where things weren't happening as repeatedly, and they were actually listening to my management. I mean, I was 17 minutes in, and I think that was like my second penalty, as opposed to my other two games were way worse.
Can you
Anyway.
tell us how you changed your communication? Like, what do you mean by?
Well, so I'll read you a direct, in case anyone wants to know.
That would be awesome.
Beforehand. So, recorder. This was my first captain's meeting, or meeting with the captain, at 12 minutes. And I said, "Captain, that was 2 times entry. I know one was way back, but not really as material as this one. Yeah, tackle entry, come in." That was my discussion with the captain. In no way did that give any direction to what you did wrong and what I want to see. And so, I mean, I had a couple more with just filler words and very nonchalant, "Okay, cool, thanks." So this last game, I basically told them what they were doing wrong, what I want them to fix, and talk to the team. And so just kind of came with that approach.
Cool.
So if you want to go to the videos, I don't want to soak up too much time with all the videos, but basically I had 2 instances of an intentional knock on from the same player in like the same field position, and I didn't issue a yellow card on the second one. I was just wondering kind of what the feedback would be from the group. If you have one intentional knock on, okay, penalty. But if it happens again by the same player, even though it was fairly decent amount of time in between, just reactions from everybody.
Okay, here's the first one.
Like, I feel like this one, she's maybe a little bit more in a position that she could have caught it, maybe if she like burst a little sooner, but anyway, still disrupted it. And then
So no card there?
No, that was the first one.
Who would have carded here?
Myself.
Yeah.
I think I would have
the
heard
question we need to ask is, where are we on the field and who's
Yeah, exactly.
in front of us?
No, I think I would argue the question is, does it prevent a line break? And I think it does. I think that player is in space and at least has a solid couple of meters. And when you're 10 meters out from the line, that really matters, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the line break, but not a probable try for me, goes yellow.
Yep.
Okay.
That's sound decision making. Thank you, Kat. All right, let's look at the second one. So that was number 10 there with the knock on from the All Blues. Here's Michelle. Here's your second one. Sorry, I'm talking over you. Please talk.
No, you're fine. Also, I guess this one's a little further out. It felt like it was the same spot.
There it is.
So I feel like if this one had happened first, probably penalty only, but now that this one's second, like it should have for sure been a yellow card. Consensus?
Yes.
Hey, Michelle, it's Amelia. I agree with you. I think that first one could have been a yellow too, similar to Cat's reasoning. It prevents a line break and it's close to the goal line.
And I had the discussion too where this happened and I immediately, like, intuition was like, oh, obviously yellow card. And then I hear the coach yell on the sideline, like, that's a yellow. And I don't know if that, like, went into my head where I was like, oh, because you said it was, like, I'm not going to listen to you. I don't know what my, anyways.
You know,
That makes sense.
it's Olivia. Last week when I watched the Berkeley game, as annoyed as I was at the commentators, one of them was a former, I don't know, wing or something, and she admitted that she would commit those intentionally, and in 15s the referees wouldn't necessarily card it.
Okay.
But it was an intentional act, and if they're doing it, these are smart players. They know what they're doing. If it's an intentional, cynical act, it's your gut, and your gut the first time was probably yellow. So trust yourself.
Yeah.
Did you also have ARs or radios or any other type of support?
I did. I had ARs and radios. I don't know if they were afraid to radio in. I didn't really ask. I just kind of made the decision. Yeah. And then my next two video clips, I have Poach. This one, I forgot the note that I wrote with it, and I left my note in my office. But they're very similar situations, but I call them differently.
Okay. There's the first one.
And so is she, I guess my question on this one was, so number 2 and number 7 look very similar, by the way, but, or is it 1, 2, and 7? Anyways, there's like
7
3
there
purples
going for the
that all
poach.
look the same. So I think it was, 7. Was she in a strong position, and did I just deny her a good turnover?
Let's watch it in real time again.
Because, I mean, she beats everybody there. I just kind of,
If you were in the same situation again, would you make the same decision?
I don't think so.
Okay. Anybody else?
Hey, Michelle, I agree with your your Wednesday, September 25th decision, but I think this one was a case of getting kind of caught, right? You don't often expect them to not make that offload and kind of get caught back there. But I think if, you come out at, square on 90, maybe you could have decided, something differently had you seen it from a better spot. But I don't know. I mean, I think call wise, I'm good with your redo. I just think that, I don't know. Had it is that 14? Did 14, was she athletic? Was she on the ball? Is there any clues that you could have had that she might have been, looking to make those type of plays? Or no, what? I don't know, 7.
Yeah, 7.
Oh, 7. That's Blue was all over the poach. And I had a discussion with the captain, I don't know, like 20 minutes in, and she was just questioning it because I feel like it was after I had these two that weren't the same. I didn't call them the same. So then she asked me, well, what's okay? And my description afterward was, I'll let it breathe. And if you survive the clean out with the ball, then it's yours. But in the first situation, that's not how I called it. So.
Right. All right, let's see the second one. Let me get rid of that sound. That's hard to see because of the camera angle for me.
It's true. Or it was the second ruck. Sorry, not the first one.
Oh, okay.
It's the next one. Because the ball, like, flies out awkwardly, and so it was blue 6,
Mm-hmm.
but still not a great angle. But like she was on her feet.
Mm-hmm. And you play on from this one. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, just inconsistencies. But I don't remember what my other.
Michelle, which clip was first? Sorry, like in the game.
Mhm.
The first one was first.
Okay. Do you think there's any chance that you let the second one go because you felt kind of bad about the first one?
Possibly, or I don't know if this was intentional or not, but the first one was at 2 minutes, so a 50-50 making a statement. Was that a good statement or a bad statement? You know, because then obviously I didn't follow my statement throughout the game.
Yeah, so hunting a little bit, maybe.
And then what was the
Player off feet.
Yeah, I think I was wrong on this one. Shouldn't have prefaced that, but I think is it blue?
Who's running the ball?
I call blue 11 for being off her feet, but
Okay.
rewatching it again, I think it might be a position thing, kind of like Steven said. Like if I come at a different angle, because again, the position I'm in is kind of square onto it. So right here, I call 11 for off feet.
Arriving player at the ruck.
Or wait, did I not call it? Gosh, I can't remember. And sorry, I didn't write it down. Oh yeah, that one. So I didn't call it, but was she off her feet?
And you're talking about blue 11?
Blue 11.
Yeah.
And
I
then,
think her intent is to go in and clear. And I don't see like head and shoulders going straight down. I see it going right towards the player.
just like momentum forward, and she just loses her.
And that's what I see, Annie.
Okay.
Anybody is going to call off feet here, or are we happy with removing a player, went to feet?
Yeah, it
Play
just
on.
looks like an awkward situation that
Okay.
yeah, you just play through, yeah. Good no call.
Cool.
Yes.
Those are the good ones.
Right. And I think that's all. I don't know if I think Rosalind put one in. Maybe not.
I don't see one.
Okay.
Roz, are you on?
Oh, yeah. I was just unmuting. No, I did not add one to this folder.
Oh,
Cool.
okay.
I like the ones you did.
Thank you. Yep, good clips. Nice job comparing. I think that's a really important thing to do, is to be able to look at your game from the beginning to the end and see similar situations where you called it the same or you didn't call it the same, and then do some thought around that. So thank you very much for those clips.
Perfect. Thank you.
Kat, you want to go?
Yes, I would love to go.
Alrighty. Go to your report.
Yeah. So I went to San Francisco and I had what I like to affectionately call the Clash of the Titans. And did a lot to, I feel like, prepare for this game. I knew it was going to be quick and I knew it was going to be challenging, and it definitely delivered. Just an aside, if anybody watches any game this year, not for the refereeing, but for the skill that these teams are playing with, this should be it so far. I'll say so far because the final will probably be amazing. It was just a really exciting game. It was super intense. And oh God, sorry. Fan. Yeah, it's a lot of good stuff. My theme coming out of the game was just improvement. I feel like I improved a lot on a lot of things I was doing. So I didn't manage as much around the breakdown, which really helped because they decided a lot of things. It was one of the first times like a player goes in for the poach and the supporting players really actually clean out the poacher. That happened. Like you see on TV, actually happened. I was able to be more professional because they needed me to do a specific job. And then I just improved on specific like situations like breakdowns and scrums. I felt like I made some more decisive calls. Also, an aside, I want to thank everyone who watched and texted me after the game. I came back to my phone and like a lot of people had texted me and said exciting things. So appreciate you guys.
Cool.
Yeah. We can go to the clips. First clip. Try or no try. Oh, it's TMO time. I don't have a TMO, but you guys can all be my TMO. So basically, Glendale, the line is much closer than it looks. To me, it looks like it should be like 10 meters back, but it's like right there. I was not looking at the player that ended up grounding the ball. I was looking to the left of her because I expected there to be one more drive over, and that was where the try was going to be scored. So we can play it, and just let me know, try or no try. So it's the player with the scrum cap.
So where the ball is now, is that the try line?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I know.
Can we watch it again? I'm sorry. Now that I know
Yeah,
where
I'm
the
trying
line
to get
is.
it. You can't see the line in the video.
Because I'm assuming it's where they're stand.
So she gets there and she has to make one movement. The question is it momentum?
Well, it doesn't have to be momentum.
I think. Yeah, one reach out. Yep. Or as long as she doesn't propel herself.
So, maybe this is not the specific case, but kind of. Are you allowed to have your teammate, like, okay, so you fail in your one movement, you're out of momentum, and then your teammate comes and drags you across the try line. Is that okay? Because it seems like the player that's coming into ruck moves her along a little bit.
No, she like reaches out.
Yeah.
Like under the people.
I'm good with a try here.
Yeah, it all looks like one movement.
It all looks like one movement. There's nothing that shows in any way that Green had any way to defend that, or in other words, to stop the downward pressure. I think it's pretty clear.
Can I ask in like a larger sense? Are we okay? There's two gold players off their feet past the ball, and I mean I know that we've talked about in past, teams clearing out past a breakdown, and this might be a special case with it being on the goal line, but I just want to maybe bring that up and see if there's a difference in folks' mind.
Yeah, I mean I think that's a great point. I also just like. I don't think anybody, like Life West is not trying to counter-ruck this. Like they're trying to defend the try that both Life West and I think is going to be scored at a different spot. Like I think my attention comes off the ball carrier because I'm anticipating she's going to reset it and it's going to go elsewhere. And that's what like all these Life West players, like those three props right to the left of me are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're all kind of like, wait.
Yeah, that was the line. I don't have a problem with those gold players because they came straight through where the ruck was. Green moved out of the way and they just kind of fell over. Like I don't feel like they were trying to clear space for anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you look at it, the person going for the tries
like there's a good ruck.
Yeah, it's a good ruck over top. She's down on the ground going for the try, and they're just rucking those people off and down.
Is she allowed to score while they're rucking over her?
It's all one thing happening at once.
All
so
at once,
I sort
yeah.
of have trouble separating any of it. I think the best decision here is try.
That's what I did, so.
That was the expected outcome, and yeah, that they had support stronger than the defense.
I guess why would we not award it?
Yeah,
is a question, and I don't see a good answer to that question.
No, Amanda, Kat, I mean, I agree with you guys. I would do the same. I would award it as well. I guess I just have concerns that, I don't know, it's either 56 minutes in or 64 minutes in, but I don't know. If that's the first time that they did it, no big deal, whatever. But, I worry that they're clearing, that they're, going past the ball, whether it's a clearing thing or not. And us not attending to that, whatever that means or looks like. But as long as, I guess in this situation, I'm all good.
Okay.
I'd like to add that, Kat, that looked so great when you went and talked to your assistant referee.
Thank you. He did not see anything. I did not expect him to, so he answered my question perfectly, and we were on it.
Exactly, and it looked great.
Well, it's Tim Liu, and the Berkeley All Blues informed us last week that he is referee development officer extraordinaire. So he probably has some good stuff for you.
This next clip, I like this because I don't think I would have called this in week 1. And I think Life West does everything right here and is not allowed the chance to compete because Glendale kills the contest. So we can play it.
Okay. Anybody disagree?
Can you play it one more time, please?
Mm-hmm.
This is Haley. I kind of feel like the Glendale won the initial contact, and then they reloaded, and Life West wasn't going to commit anymore. It's not like it's a bad call. It looks, that action right there, that girl going off her feet right there, but the initial contact was won by Gold, like fair and square. Just devil's advocate.
Was that gold player injured after play?
Do what?
Was the gold player injured after the play? I'm just curious. She looks.
This was Gold 4's last play of the game.
She tore her ACL.
Oh my gosh.
She's just laying there, and look how she just flops.
Oh, God.
She's just, ow.
This is Lee. I kind of see what Haley's getting at too. Is, Glendale was supporting their receiver, and it's not like she didn't go down because they weren't already kind of over the ball.
I would devil advocates the other way and say, is she supporting her weight?
Yeah. Yep. I like the off feet call. I think it's a pretty clear picture for everybody.
Yeah, she's actually crab walking there, if you watch it.
Yeah, I think just my key is like when she clears off the first green player, she goes down and you see 2 green players like try to go in and they just can't because she's off her feet.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, interesting points. And then
What else you got?
let it breathe the tackle. This is fun because Greg and I got into a bit of a disagreement, shall I say, about this.
Not just this one.
Oh yeah, don't worry. So I had this same exact situation in Minnesota versus Atlanta, and I tried to manage it. And as soon as I said release, because I said release like as soon as her knee hit the ground, I was in like the phrase of saying it when Minnesota had actually indeed won the strip, and then I penalized a Minnesota player and I looked like an idiot because it just was not clear and obvious. So this time I don't say anything and I allow the strip to happen.
There's a knee on the ground. There's the strip.
Yeah, and I guess Greg and I talked about this, and my point was I don't see it as clear and obvious that her knee was down and Gold didn't have the ball. I just didn't think it was clear and obvious enough.
That was going to be my next question is what was your thought process? If your thought process was, well, I didn't think the knee hit, well, then obviously you're going to play on. So
what's the, oh, sorry.
I'm
Bob.
sorry. Can we see it in real time?
Yep,
Just because I want to see her.
You had an unobstructed view, Kat?
Yeah, that's I think her positioning, she wouldn't be able to see it.
I was just wondering, did you have all the information when you made the decision?
Yeah, so she's, for this, like right before that, there's a moment where her knee isn't on the ground. And I was waiting for her knee to actually hit the ground. And like the second her knee hits the ground, I look up and Gold has the ball in her hands.
Contextually, what's the story of the game at this point? 32 minutes in.
Good question.
32 minutes in. Life West has
looks like we got 17-5.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 11 minutes in. Sorry, it's 32 on the clock, but it's 11 on the, or is it counting the right way?
No, it's counting down. So it's 32 minutes. Glendale, Glendale has 17 points. Most of the penalties are against Life West. They've had a crap ton of handling errors.
Okay. That's important.
The last penalty that happened was 10 minutes prior, and it was an offside that Glendale scored off of.
Okay.
So
would a penalty against Glendale have given you more balance?
Yeah, probably.
This is Haley. I had a similar one in my game with Glendale and Orsu a couple weeks, and I regret not clipping it because I was standing in about the same place you were, and the same type of thing. Glendale with this tackle assist stuff, they're very savvy at getting away with it, and I wish I'd clipped that, but it was also an illegal turnover. The shape of it, and it's funny, like you were standing in the same kind of area where I was, but that's something that they do.
Something that Glendale does?
Yeah, I've
So the
noticed it
upright.
watching them. Right.
Do they tie her up and then get the strip? Yeah, they maybe not. It might just be a fluke. Okay. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. Forgive me.
Yeah, I guess my thought about this is like, as soon as I entered this position, I kind of was suddenly in Minnesota again, and I was watching the same thing happened, and I knew how that outcome happened. Like, I knew the outcome of what happens when I say something stupid and blow the penalty. So I guess I was just trying the opposite, and that was also, I guess, silly. So
I mean, I think this is no. I mean, I think this is a great clip, and I'm glad you brought it to the group. I think it's probably a very tight call. So then we just revert to what's the game need.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. Does anybody have any brilliant thoughts about this?
Slightly different perspective, just thinking about it as you watch that clip. This, as Kat said, this is a very good game. Every player on here knows exactly what they're doing. So the ball carrier in this situation who's running into traffic and has someone on her back and someone tugging at the ball, what does she have to do to get them off of her back to allow her to place the ball?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if you watch it real time, it's very fast, very bang, bang. But from my point of view, there's just another line of thinking, and that's the ball carrier knows exactly what she has to do. She needs to get a knee down.
So she worked hard to get the knee down, and you think she should be rewarded?
Yeah, at that
Yep.
point in the game. And just to be clear, this game was 17-0, just a few minutes before that. So
Mhm.
Life West is trying to claw their way back into it. And the fact that it was 17-0 was largely due to their knock-ons and handling errors. So they're trying to do the right thing. But it's a line of thinking.
Right. Absolutely.
Kat's line of reasoning is just as valid. I mean, it's a really close call. That's
Yep.
why the clip.
Great clip. Thank you so much for that one. Any others, Kat? Is that going to be it?
No, that was all my clips. I just want to say one last thing. I don't know how everyone else is feeling about their IPPs that we did at the beginning of the season, but one of mine was working on speed and agility, and I really have felt it paying off over over the progression of the season, especially in the game that this was this quick. I felt like I was able to move really well. So just maybe check out your IPPs and see if they're going for you, because it's awesome.
Yeah, this is awesome. And this is a good time in the season to really go and check back in and make sure we're doing what we said we were going to try to do so we all get better. So thank you, Kat.
That's all for me.
All right. Last but not least, Joe Burpell.
Hello, friends. So, first game in the WPL.
Yeah.
Point of emphasis were I was looking to allow the players to play and keep the game in front of me and not happening around me. So if we're talking about setting yourself up for success, I kind of set myself up for a little bit of failure in that regard. I was putting myself on the weak side 45, leaning a little bit heavier on my assistant referees, who I've worked with a bunch, and I'm sure a bunch of you have worked with them a bunch. Pete and Min. I was at that 45. I wasn't actually able to see where the defensive line or where the defensive offside line was. So that definitely came into effect throughout the game, especially with Atlanta. I feel like the Atlanta teams, Atlanta Quins, because they are so closely associated with LifeU, have a thicker file on me than they have of most teams. So they were able to push it really hard. That's most of Dave's comments. So other than that, I think I did I didn't do great on the offside line, but I did well at picking out the big fish rather than the minnows. So
Yeah, that's something you've been working on for a really long time too, just to bring that up to the group. And I think you really achieved it here. Great work.
So going to the clips, I numbered them 1, 2, 3. So number 1 is an issue with a running line. There was a kick, and then I gave the benefit of the doubt to the attacking player in an attempt to see more scoring, which we had at 21 minutes in, we've only had 5 points.
A foot race and she like man.
So 14 hustles back. I'm thinking that this is going to be a neutral event because of the arriving player, and to just stack some more chips on our own side, 14 decides to maybe not necessarily release the ball, do some just, yeah.
What's your PK?
Penalty kick is for, I call hands in the ruck.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking that I'm going to get a contest right. Like if you back it up 2 seconds, I'm thinking I'm going to get a contest from these two players, 14 staying on the ground. I'm going to expect a contest right here. And instead, Red starts to throw hands in. I probably could have just gotten the first offense with 14 handling the ball a little bit too long.
Yeah, and Joe and I talked about probable outcomes there. What should have happened, probably.
Yeah.
You know, who's under pressure.
Mm-hmm. So if you had to do it again?
Yeah, doing it again, I would call holding on by 14.
Okay.
Quins.
Anybody disagree?
And if you watch what 14 does right here when she gets up and then just slams another
slams the other player to the ground.
We then can talk about yellow cards too, right? Like,
yeah. I wish the clip was longer because I'm interested in where you're coming from, your arrival, but
I wish that there was like an all 22 or an all 31. But yeah, it's a crossfield kick.
Is that what's going on? Okay.
So, in celebrate success, here's my yellow card. And by success, I mean my success, not the player's success. So, play the clip. I'm glad that I was able to stick to my guns on this one because it seemed as if the rest of the players wanted just a penalty only. I would argue if I was to take a straw poll, there's like 90% of the people, 90% of the players wanted penalty only on this because her hair is so long. But I stuck to my guns on this and issued a yellow card.
That's a great call, Joe, because it's not like she grabbed it and let go. I mean, that girl carried her by the hair for a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Great yellow card, yeah.
And her argument was that she reached out with both hands, one hand catching jersey, the other hand catching hair, and then released the jersey first, and then kept on going with the hair. So
I wish this clip was longer too, because the way that you stay very calm and award the card, the whole process is really quick and really professional looking. So
I have a question. What did the player who got her hair pulled, how did she react?
From my recollection, she just kind of walked away. I wasn't. She walked away from Beantown. So to me, that was like, all right, she's away. She's not gonna, be mad or do something rash. So as long as I can keep the teams apart, I don't have to deal with any of secondaries. So she wasn't like getting mad or anything like that. But the captain of Quins actually argued actually after I had issued the yellow card that that shouldn't be a yellow card.
Captain of town, you mean?
No, the captain of Quins.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the reason I asked that is because I've seen it I don't like nothing about your clip specifically, but I've seen it happen where like a girl me honestly would like pull somebody's hair and like both people would be understanding and be like, oh my God, like I'm so sorry. And it's like, no, it's okay. It's cool. And that's why I didn't know if that happened, because that could explain why nobody wanted a yellow card. Because like women's rugby, we pull each other's hair. So that's just what I wonder.
No, I agree with you, Kat. Personally, I don't know, I come from the old school, and if you wore it down, like that's your problem. But the standard, Joe did what's right, you know, the way that we want to interpret it. So.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
And I know that there was a brief flash in my brain of, all right, what if I listen to the play, listen to everybody else on this field, and like rescind the yellow card? And I'm like, nah, it's going on advantage. I have to deal with you other 15 people, so I decided to keep on going. And then there's clip 3. So this happened a couple of times. Did I grab the right?
It's a mall.
I think I grabbed the right one. Play through if you can.
No, this is the correct one, Joe.
Okay. Yeah. So multiple times, the number 8 and Beantown generically, but specifically the number 8 happened. This happened a lot with. She would receive the ball. Beantown would start trundling along with the scrum or with the maul, and then think that they only had to be engaged with their hand, not all the way up to the shoulder. And 26, Lisa Jackson from Quinn's would see that she had disengaged and pop around and make the hit. And that kind of looked, you know, without any context, you're only looking at a video that's kind of zooming in, and I'm standing right next to the to the mall. It looks like there's illegal side entry.
Wasn't the ball on the ground at this point?
That's what the penalty is. That's what the penalty is. The penalty is that the ball gets on the ground and then we get off feet. But the expected outcome of a maul of this form was probably, side entry.
Yeah, it looks to me like 26 pulls this sucker down.
Okay.
I don't know. What is everybody else seeing?
That was my take on it, Amanda, when I was reviewing this clip. To me, you had the forward motion by Beantown. Suddenly you got that stoppage, and the exit by which 26 is doing is another indicator that she's basically brought it down and rolled out. That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and there's a couple more malls where it happens again in the middle of the field. And it's 26. I mean, but maybe they're disengaging and she's just coming through, but it definitely leans towards she's just collapsing it every time.
You're correct, Wendy. I think it was like the first maul in the first half.
Uh-huh.
You had 26 again coming in, doing the same thing.
Referees, what are we seeing?
I'd say 26 collapses them all.
Okay. Cool. Agreement then. Is that it?
That's all of my clips.
Oh, wow,
Unless
it's 10 o'clock.
Wendy nor Dave have anything besides what I've said.
Thank you, Joe. I can't believe it.
Hey, Wendy, didn't you put one in?
I think I had asked. I can't because
No, that was from Jenny's game.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
The only one I would have put in was a little bit more maybe showing the offsides line with Atlanta, because Joe's right. I mean, they're wanting to have a quick off the line, but they were offsides half the game maybe. So
Yeah, probably a little
just
bit
that
more
fine
than
line
that.
between
Are they coming from an onside position when they want to do their rush defense? And we have to make sure that they are.
Yeah, I think that was a situation. Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you were trying to rely more on your ARs for those offside lines, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, that was the goal. Did I empower them enough to do so? No. I definitely, I kind of just gave them the regular old spiel of, hey, you guys watch this and I'll watch this part. And I should have really said, all right, really get in there and be part of the team. But in the end, I have to wear it because I put myself, like I said, I set myself up for failure. I would have only accidentally walked into, positive. Then, anyway.
Yeah, their cat's problem this weekend, it looks like. All right, so this weekend we've got Lee Bryant joining us for the first time, I think, Lee. So yay, welcome, and can't wait to see you back on the pitch. Yeah, you should be relaxed after all the marrying and honeymooning, so it should be awesome. Julie Ann's heading to San Diego. Kat will be in New York. Michelle O'Brien goes to the Amazons. So yay. Really quick, I just wanted to say thank you everybody for all of the feedback that I'm getting from the group. I think it's very positive. I like the way we're interacting with each other and really trying to create a culture of respect where if there's a problem, we're working it out one-on-one or coming to management and trying to work it out like that. So thank you guys and continue to operate as professionals. I think moving into the next couple of weeks, we know temperatures get high with the teams. We know that competition gets high with us as referees. We have the whole situation that we're managing, which is sort of new for everybody, which is having a performance reviewer and a coach on a match. So continue to keep the lines of communication open. If something's not working for you, let's try to figure out what will work. But so far, I really appreciate all the feedback, and I'm very happy with the way things are going. So thank you. Does anybody have comments around that they wanted to add? Cool. Finals weekend is coming up. Please, please, please check your membership stuff. Make sure everything is kosher. That includes coaches and performance reviewers, because USA Rugby is flying us in to do a job. We're going to be working closely with referees and teams in a small space. So we all need to make sure we've got all of our certifications up to date so that there are no issues.
Get your safe sport done.
Get your safe sport done. Thank you, Kat. I didn't want to say it, but now it's said. I'm kidding. That's it. Thank you guys all very, very much. Have a great day. I guess that's all I have, unless anybody has anything else.
Go team.
Have fun this weekend.
Yay.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.